Okay, I have been wanting to make this video for over a year and I can finally say I think I'm ready to tell you guys everything I know about reselling Lululemon. Hello, my name is Danica. I'm a part-time reseller based in Calgary, Alberta. That's in Canada. I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark. I sell on Poshmark Canada, Poshmark US. I've also been cross-listing to eBay and Etsy recently, but today's video is all about Lululemon. So make sure you watch until the very end because you're not gonna want to miss a minute of this video. I have been wanting to make this video, like I said, for over a year, but I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted it to be exactly what you need to know about reselling Lululemon online. There are so many myths and misconceptions about reselling Lululemon, and some may be true, but I want to dispel any misinformation about reselling Lululemon. It is possible to do it. It's one of my, I think it is my highest selling brand. I will get a screenshot of my seller insights and put it right here to show you guys. It is very possible to resell Lululemon and to do it well once you know what to look for, once you know what to pay for an item, what it's going to resell for, and all that. So let's get started without any delays. So I have literally my notes here for you. So myths about reselling Lululemon. I think the biggest myth is that it is oversaturated. Although I would say that's not a myth. It is in a way oversaturated. Any brand that is sought after will in a way be oversaturated. I mean, Lululemon, Aritzia, I'm just thinking of Canadian brands, but in the US, I'm sure there's some oversaturated brands as well, Free People, Anthropologie, things like that. I think with all those brands, the most important thing is to make sure that you're sourcing them smartly. There is money to be made. There's a lot of money to be made in reselling those brands. You just need to know what to look for. So that's part of what I'll be teaching you today. Another myth is that it does not sell for enough money. Again, it goes back to knowing which items to pick up, which ones to leave, which styles are good, how much money to pay for Lululemon items, and how much you can expect to make from these items. The next misconception I would say is that it is hard to source. I think this is more about where you live. I think I'm really lucky in the fact that I can source Lululemon very, very easily. Just in general, I can source Lululemon very quickly. I went to the thrift store yesterday, the one that I always go to, that it's the closest one to my house. So I don't go to that one because it's like the best one or that it's in the rich area of Calgary. I mean, it is probably my favorite in Calgary of all the value villages, but I found probably 20 Lululemon tank tops. I found probably 10 to 15 pairs of leggings, but I only brought one item home. So that will be kind of also what I go over today in this video. But saying that it's hard to source, I think it can be for some people, but once you know what to look for, I think you'll just find it. There are so many different ways to source too. You can source on Poshmark, you can source on eBay. If you're in the US, you can source on Mercari, you can source on Facebook Marketplace, in Canada, we have Kijiji. I think there's some maybe Let Go in the US. There are so many like little ways to source items if you're looking for them. The next myth or thing I want to go over is it's hard to know which styles are on trend and which styles or which items are BOLO. So those are all things I want to go over in today's video. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of information here, but hopefully it makes it easier for you to know which items are worth picking up and which ones to leave behind when you find them at the thrift store. So the first thing I'm going to go over, which is like a very basic way of dating Lululemon is by the size dot. So there's a few size dots that you could see at the thrift store. Also, not every item has a size dot, and it does not mean that it is fake. It just means some of them just don't have them. So I will pop up a few examples of size dots that you could find up here. The most recent one is this one. So this is what you want to look for to know that a Lululemon item is more recent. I also have a post on Instagram on how to look those items up in Lulu Fanatics, so that is a very, very good resource. I will talk about that more later in the video, but that is definitely a page you want to have bookmarked on your browser. So the ones that are older, the size dots that are older, will have no numbers or letters around the number. There are some that I have like 4 or 6 letters or numbers, but like I said, I showed you which one is the most recent one. A super quick way that I can tell you to look up the item is start with the W and end with the S. Pop that like little alphanumeric code into Lulu Fanatics and the style will pop up. If it is men's, you're going to want to start with the M and end with the S. And then I think it's 5 or 6 letters or numbers and it will show up. I'm wearing one of my Lululemon Scubas. Okay, so it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 letters and numbers. Okay. Now, which styles and price points are you comfortable with? I think everyone has different sourcing strategies. So what I would be comfortable paying up for an item might not be something you're comfortable picking an item up for. There's also different ways of sourcing, right? So if I'm at the thrift store, there are some items that I might pay $15, $20, $25 for, but if you have access to the bins, I have been to the bins ones and somehow, I don't know how I got so lucky, I found 19 Lululemon items, $1 per item. So I think this is a little bit more personal. It's something you need to think about. What am I comfortable spending on an item that will have a higher ASP, average sales price? So I don't know if you have a certain percentage you want to make back, if you want to double your money. Those are all things you need to think about and things that you need to consider when you're sourcing. One thing I will say is you will want to become more knowledgeable about the brand, whether it be Lululemon or anything, before you start investing too much into it. I know when I first started reselling, I would just grab every Lululemon I found. I was just like, give me all the Lululemon. And you know what? I think I definitely lost money on some of it, but it got people coming to my closet. So that's something I will also touch back on later in the video. Now, sourcing less desirable, it was actually my next point in here. Funny how that works. Sourcing less desirable styles can bring people to your closet. So let's say you find an old Lululemon tank top, but the thrift store has not priced it up. Is that something I would consider picking up just to get people to come to my closet and see what else I had? Potentially. I do think there are different ways you can source for your closet. There are different ways you can get people to come to your closet, and that is definitely one of them. Having access to Lululemon is something I touched on before, but I do think there is a lot to be found. There are people I know who reach out to yoga studios and they're like, if there's anyone here that, buys a lot of Lululemon and, just goes through it and wants to get rid of some, let me know and I'll resell it. There's 100 ways to source Lululemon. So that is definitely something that you need to look into. And once you learn how to source smartly, it will be so much easier for you. Wear and tear. This is something that you need to be really careful with Lululemon. They do offer free repairs for the lifetime of the item, as far as I know. They used to. I don't know if they still do, because I think a lot of people were taking advantage of that. I personally have only ever used it for items that I bought retail and that were kind of breaking down. So that's something that you need to look for. The seams can sometimes get a little bit frayed, but one thing about Lululemon is, in my opinion, it is really easy to fix the pilling. A lot of people complain about the Align leggings, the Align fabric pilling really easily, and it does, but sweater shaving it is honestly so easy. It never gets back to like the perfect, like how it was at the very beginning, but you can take the pilling off really easily. Just make sure you are so careful and use a very, very gentle pressure on it. I will sweater shave my Align shorts and leggings while I'm wearing them, which is probably not very smart, but that's just me. So the next tip that I have for you is to go onto Lulu Fanatics and get yourself familiar with the items. They have a what's new category. They have a unicorns category. I love going into the unicorns category every once in a while and just getting familiar. Sometimes you see some things and you're like, when did Lululemon make that? That is so ugly, but regardless, it is important to just get yourself familiar with the brand, and you will learn so quickly. I mean, there's some styles that come back over and over and over again when you're out thrifting, so you will learn so quickly which styles are which. And honestly, like, this is what's crazy to me. I was not a Lululemon person before I started reselling. I started reselling because of Lululemon. That's the first item I ever sold, was a pair of Lululemon leggings my mom had given me because they didn't fit her anymore. And then I wore them like crazy, and then they were just like, they did not fit me at all. They were way too big for me, but it was my only Lululemon. So I just like kind of hung on to them forever. And then I finally listed them on Poshmark and they sold overnight for full price. And I was like, whoa. And ever since then, I have just found it at the thrift store and purchased it for myself. I do buy it retail, and I don't know, I just love the style. I love the comfort. I am, if you know me in real life, you know I am a cozy girl forever. You will always find me in an oversized Lululemon sweatshirt and leggings on most days. So where was I? So go on to Lulu Fanatics, get familiar with the unicorns, the names of different styles. They might even have a section of like what's popular. You know, you can go onto Poshmark and sort the sold listings by like the most recently sold. Get yourself familiar with which items are selling and for how much they're selling for. That way, when you're thrifting, you can be like, you can make your decisions pretty quickly. You will, like I said, you will catch on quickly. A lot of the styles are super common and what you will find the most in the wild. So it is very common that you will find the same few items. Like you will find old scuba hoodies, you will find Wonder Unders, you will find dance studio pants, you will find like there's a few things that just are always at the thrift store. Hottie hot shorts, you know, there's like a few things that you will come across over and over again. So which styles to look for? I will tell you which styles I look for. I also often go onto the Lululemon website and see what's new and what's trending. A lot of people used to say, a lot of resellers on, you know, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, would kind of bash old Lululemon and say, oh my gosh, I would never pick that up. I would never, blah, 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 whatever. Joke's on them, because Lululemon is actually re-releasing a lot of the really old styles that people were just trashing. So they do have like a vintage collection that they are remaking and re-releasing. I think the form jacket is in there. So they are remaking older styles, and like older things are coming back into style. The flared leggings, right? Get familiar with the price point of what it is retail. So most of the items sell for like $38, $98, $118 and up. But like I would say for the most part, leggings will sell for $118, like maybe $88 to $118, depending on the style. Some will be more like $138. Some will be maybe a little bit less. They do also have a clearance section on the website, so just keep that in mind. And also check to see what it resells for. I mean, this is like so basic reselling 101. Check comps. If you're in the thrift store and you're not familiar with it yet, just check comps while you're there. The point of this video is kind of to get you to a point where you can breeze through the thrift store, know what to look for, but once you do find it, you should still check comps, because I mean, the styles that are coming and going are all like, it happens very quickly. Okay, I'm on the same train of thought as I was when I wrote these notes, because literally the next thing I wrote down was, when in doubt, check comps. So always, 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 if you're not familiar, I don't really check comps on Lululemon anymore. I have a good idea of what I'm looking for, what it resells for, and what I'm comfortable spending on something. Trending styles right now. So something we are seeing a lot of are the flared leggings. So the groove pant is really in. Straight leg trousers. I have pictures up here that I will show you. These are the soft stream high rise pant. I have these and they are so comfortable. I love them. The oversized scuba, which is what I'm wearing right now, is, I don't know if it's still selling. It's not still selling out. It was selling out for a long time, but now it seems like they've kind of got the supply chain under control. So these are pretty much available all the time. They have the version with the hood and a funnel neck version. They have a Sherpa version. The belt bags, I don't have this in here, but the belt bags are trending big time because of TikTok. Those were selling out as well. I don't know if they're still selling out. The parkas, I would love to find a Lululemon parka in the wild. I want one so badly, like so badly. And aligned tanks, I think, are kind of in trend still and will be for a while. Styles that will always do well. This is just my opinion. These are things that I'm comfortable paying up for because I know in my personal experience that they will do well. So align leggings, I mean, are leggings still in? I don't know. I still wear mine. Millennials like me will still be wearing their leggings forever. So I love to find align leggings. Wonder under leggings, I would say the high rise, but even low rise is not too bad. Wonder under leggings and align leggings, I would feel comfortable paying $10 to $15 for. I can, sorry, I could sell aligns for probably $50 to $70 easily, quickly. Super soft sweaters, they have a line with, well, they have like cashmere blend sweaters. Those are always really good performers in my closet. So those are things that I would consider bread and butter items. Something that I leave, like these are the items that I leave every time I see them. The old scuba sweaters. I will put a screenshot of what I'm talking about here. These were everything when I was in high school, and I think the new styles are okay of scubas, but the old ones are just, they're so dated. Those I would say are oversaturated 100%, and they're oversaturated and they don't sell, in my opinion. I will pick them up at the bins if it's in good condition, but at the thrift store, I would not pay up for them. Tank tops. I think tank tops are what is giving reselling Lululemon a bad rap, because there are like thousands of old ratty Lululemon tank tops listed on Poshmark. And trust me when I say they do not sell for more than like $10 to $15. I'm not talking about the Align tank, but pretty much every other style will not sell unless it's like super recent. If it was like manufactured in the last year, you could try it, but they don't retail for that much either. The Lululemon tank tops probably like $38 to $58, which is like relatively mid-priced for Lululemon. Do you know what I mean? So tank tops, I will grab at the bins to auction off on whatnot for like $2-3. I would not pay more than $1 for a Lululemon tank top. I've even fallen prey for this. I am not perfect, okay? I still make mistakes. I still get blinded at the bins and will pick up pretty much any Lululemon. And that is also something that has helped me like do research so I could bring you this information. I haven't made the mistakes. I'm not like this person that, you know, only grabs the most recent Lululemon and sells it all for $150, okay? I am also that person that picks up a dingy $1 Lululemon tank top and then lists it on Poshmark, and I'm like, no one wants this. So these are all the things to consider when reselling Lululemon. I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions about reselling Lululemon specifically, make sure you drop them in the comments. I would be happy to answer them for you if I know the answer. But I think we covered a lot of ground here. I think I've given you the tools to know more about reselling Lululemon. I mean, you will make mistakes, you will pick up things that maybe you shouldn't, but I hope that I've given you some information to make more informed decisions. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will try to make more videos like this of tips and tricks on how to source and how to sell, and hopefully I will see you next time. See ya!